Yo, Eric, we're over here on the paranormal hunt, and I headed over to this other building, and it's number 13. Now, is this someone alive? My God.
All right, welcome everybody. I see some people in the chat already, and I want to thank anybody who does show up today because I know this week is Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is on Thursday, so a lot of people are traveling. A lot of people got a lot of things to do, shopping. I mean, there's a lot of things to do, and I'll tell you guys what, real quick. It's going to be a weird Thanksgiving because just going to the store, buying stuff for Thanksgiving, and just sitting there and just the prices, it's almost like we need food and water to survive in this world. We just do. We got to eat.
Yeah.
But it's like it's almost like making it impossible to even eat with the prices. I like to put a couple bacons right on top of the turkey when I cook it just to get some bacon oil on there. Bacon, $9-10. And it's just like, wow. Oh, our guest. Now he's driving around. He's trying to find a parking spot. So Mandela Effect, that's his name. He's going to try to come right back on because we're going to be talking
about him yesterday. That's right.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about some Mandela effects today. You know, he is one of the original when YouTube was came about, and then communities start being built. What I mean by communities being built, like here's the Bigfoot community coming along. Here's the UFO community coming along. The paranormal community. I would say he's one of the tier ones that first came out. For myself, when I was trying to learn what is the Mandela effect, I remember my brothers asking me questions because I'll be honest, I didn't like what I understood the phenomenon, but I didn't really understand the name. And I'm like, wow, such an interesting thing. And when you go to YouTube,
from Nelson Mandela, right? Is that where the Mandela effect comes from?
Exactly. Well, Fiona Broome is a paranormal investigator. She's a book writer, and she's a book writer. I'm not here to tell you should like Fiona Broome or not, but the story goes that during a party, somebody talked about Nelson Mandela. We know he died in the 90s or so, but some people had a memory that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s in prison. And so since that was like a story, she took it, and her book editor said, hey, let's just name this phenomenon Mandela Effect. So it came from her book. It's a name to really basically to sell books with the name, but right. The phenomenon has always been there, but they gave it a name. So it came from a book, and however you feel about Fiona Broome, that's up to you. Because a lot of people in the Mandela Effect community, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, guys. Because like I said, I've been in every community there is. It's kind of weird. A lot of people push back on her because she's more from the paranormal world, kind of like taking all credit in a way in the Mandela Effect world, when technically all she did was took the phenomenon, put a name, and it's to sell books. However you feel about that, but that's where the name kind of came from. Now it's kind of hard to say, what was the original first phenomenon, because that's impossible to know. Because basically, guys, technically, what a Mandela effect really is you have a memory of one thing, and now that memory's changed. Somebody told you it's changed. It's totally.
Do you recall what started it all, Eric? Do you recall what started it all for the Mandela effect?
What started it all? Be honest with you, what got me into thinking about this is this is a simple one. I mean, everybody knows. Maybe not everybody knows. My brother asked me one day about Moonraker, Roger Moore, James Bond movie. Okay, so he asked me about that. I know a lot of people know about this, but He asked me because Roger Moore was my James Bond. He is my James Bond. That was my age group. I grew up after Sean Connery. We all know Sean Connery's the king, but when I grew up, I knew Roger Moore. And I love Moonraker, the silver teeth Jaws, which actually was mayor of a town outside of Fresno. He's like Jaws, actually. He's a hero to a lot of us in Fresno because he came from that area. You know, you don't get a lot of people from Fresno. So Jaws is us. So my brother asked me, do you remember a scene? Let me see if I get a picture of it. Hold on. Maybe a picture, people get it. Moonraker. Hold on. Dolly. Okay. Let me get an image here so everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about here. I wish. Okay. Let me hit share screen. Moonraker. Okay. So in the movie Moonraker, there's Jaws and there's an actress playing a character named Dolly. Okay, right here she has no braces. But a lot of people, including myself, watching this movie, remembers her having braces. And the reason is there's a scene where he was trapped, and she went over there. Somehow she has super strength, and she left him out. And he looked at her, and she opened her mouth, and since she had braces, it was like that connection, like braces, his silver teeth. Yes, and that's the reason why they liked each other. There was a picture where somebody did put braces on her, but I can't see it. I can't.
I wonder while they were filming the movie, in the beginning she had braces, and then during production they came off and they just went with it.
It was just weird because my brother told me that she doesn't have braces no more. I remember like, what do you mean? No, what? What are you talking about? I mean, I'm like, I didn't know. What do you mean she don't have braces? And I remember putting the movie back on, like, wow, she has no braces. And you know, you just sit there, and you know, you try to debunk yourself, like, well, why would I think she was wearing it? And I've seen people say, well, there was a Wendy's commercial, but get that commercial out of here. I never saw this commercial with another girl who looks like her wearing braces. So that's where it got me. And the simple ones. I mean, there was the simple ones like money bags from Monopoly, monocle, not wearing a monocle. So there were certain ones like, really? Never wore a monocle? Never had one? So that's where I was like, well, that's intriguing. And then that's where I started to do my research. I started to I went up to YouTube, and the hardest thing I had was who's giving me the truth in the first place? Because think about this. I know you could get deep with this, but think about this. Yeah. I tried to think about this last night. If you tell people you believe in Bigfoot, people think you're crazy.
True.
You tell people you tell people you believe in the UFO, they think you're crazy. You tell people you believe in the paranormal, they think you're crazy. You tell people you believe in the Mandela Effect, they think you're nuts, nutball. They want to lock you up and throw you away. And I think, I don't know why I was thinking this last night. I think it's more because I think people are afraid. And I'll tell you why I think people are afraid. If Bigfoot's real, he's an animal. He's blood, right? It's just it's a living thing. You'll be able to accept that, like accepting bears and deers. You're accepting a Bigfoot. Aliens. Most of us do believe there is life outside this planet. Even though it's a little more scarier knowing there's aliens because they could take over, you're thinking they're going to take over the world. But you could accept that because you already have the mind frame of there is life already out there. Paranormal, technically you believe that they came from life. Their energy that was from life. But think about this. Mandela Effect is real. You don't know if somehow you had the exact proof that it's real, what the hell is causing that? How scary can that be? All three of us on this panel have kids. Think about that. You wake up one day, you're ready to take your kids to school, you find out you don't have any kids. Just think about that. You're married with kids. I mean, think about knowing that if it could be real, that you could wake up and you go to work, you felt like you worked for 20 years, You get there, you don't work here. You've never worked here. I mean, think about how scary
Imagine.
technically that could be.
What's that show on Netflix where they go into the elevator and as they're going up, their mind gets reprogrammed. They only know everybody at work, and then they come down in the elevator.
That's on Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah, it's on.
When they put that chip in their brain to fuse their brain.
Yeah, no, another good one to think of that. I don't know if you guys remember this movie, Family Man, with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, great movie.
He wakes up, he has kids. What the hell you do? Like you have kids and all that. Good, great guys, movie. Awesome. We got Mandela Effect back on, and he, like I said, he emailed me some pictures and stuff. We're gonna take a look at it. And like I was saying, he is one of the tier 1 original channels that was talking about the Mandela Effect when most people weren't yet. And so I myself has gotten a lot of information like, wow, this has changed. Wow, I never realized that. So he is one of the originals, and anybody who knows him knows that he's just going to tell you what he thinks it is. He's not going to sugarcoat it. He's not going to tell you what you want to hear. He doesn't say things to be a clickbait. He just tells you exactly what he remembers. And that's one of the things why I respected him. And him and I, we've known each other for a long time. We've been through a lot through the community of people now claim everything, claims that, it's just like there's people who claim Bible changes who've never even read a Bible in their life. There's a lot of those people out there. And it's just like, sometimes I don't even know who to go to on YouTube. So Mandela Effect, it was just a channel that I trusted, I go to, and I'm just going to pull up what he sent me, and we're just going to start from there. We're just going to start what he sent me. Let me see here.
Yeah, I was going to label them, but I didn't have time, so they might be a little bit of all over the place.
Oh, okay, so here.
Yeah, that's Margaret Thatcher. It's just for the image. That's all it is, because she's very different. I wouldn't even know where to start. You probably don't really know her too well, so it's probably not going to be worthwhile going over that one. But
why not? She was the Prime Minister of England.
Well, yeah, but it's like now when you go back, her persona's very different. She was much more authoritarian back then. That's why they called her the Iron Lady. She was dominant. She used to bang her fists. She used to. She had was it Heseltine and all them lot. She had all aboard was in fear of her. It's not like that now. It's very very different. There's so much with her, but she has Margaret Thatcher's got a strange gap in her teeth as well. I don't know whether I've put that image there. I don't think I have. I just thought I'd click a lot of images. But as soon as you see someone's face and you think, oh, it's altered slightly, what you usually find is segments of the history have altered, and they'll have like a great impact on what come through. So politically, I don't personally know many things that she did because I didn't follow her politically on her decisions and policies and stuff. But I'm sure there'll be discrepancies there. I just didn't follow that closely, I'm afraid. That's Doctor Who being with a D and an R, but they spell Daleks different now.
The Daleks.
That's Daleks. How I remember it. I don't know how they spell it now. Actually, I'd have to look it up. I'd tell you something interesting. I was at a meeting yesterday, and for me, I've banged on about this for years on the channel. Uranium-232 and the isotope, it's created, and from uranium. Now I've mentioned it. God, Bennett, since the channel was a few weeks old, so it's been like 7 years or something. And I was at a meeting yesterday, and I brought it up, and I got the phone out straight away. It came up, and I'm like, oh shit! I'll look an ass now, don't I? I've mentioned this, and all this time it's popped up. And that's the thing with the Mandela Effect. If you're mentioning something and you see it, you've got to make sure that you've just checked it before you mention it, because it can change. It can flip-flop back. It can pop back in. And when these things do pop back in, you've got to remember everything associated with that in history will readjust. Now, this is Aerosmith. I think this one was Love in an Elevator. You never had them glasses on. Them glasses are...
Oh, is that the music video?
It is, yeah.
Oh wow!
It
I
looks
remember the
it
video
looks.
that he does the split on stage
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
and all that. Wow!
And he's got these
Oh, that's
he's got these stupid glasses on now, and not only that is he wears that red gear, like red tightish costume, but it's different.
Right.
I can't really sort of describe without looking at the full thing on what the differences are, because that's just a small clip from there, but it is very different. And I think if you like remembering that, I'm sure you'll have enough to know the see the differences in it. But throughout that whole routine in the video, he never wore glasses. Not for me.
Yeah, I don't
I've seen
remember
it loads when I was
glasses
a kid.
at all.
Mm-mm,
hey,
Even when,
no.
when the video starts, they walk into the diner or the restaurant or whatever, the group of guys, they got their long 3/4 length black jackets on. Nobody had glasses on or nothing even then in that video.
Which one's that? The what?
Look at an elevator. I don't remember
Oh
him
yeah.
wearing glasses
Yeah.
anywhere in there from start to finish. I don't
No,
remember that.
But-
not at all.
Well, I guess the question is, I guess it's a question of all questions. Like, but why? You know what I mean? I mean, that's the part that you can fall down the rabbit hole of. What do these changes even mean? You know, I mean, why do we miss?
Well,
I know
sometimes
I'm not
they
the
might
word
not mean anything.
mismirroring. I know that word mismirroring. I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying, why
No.
are we having these memory changes like this? And it's like, what's the message here?
Well, for me, as I see this, that the glasses are basically a knock-on effect from either a decision he's made, as in what he wants to wear, or from the clothing department. What do they call it? The like the makeup department, but where they have the rails. They give it a certain term, don't they? Either something there's changed, or there'll be maybe a different person within there that's that now wasn't there. But I don't know who previously done his makeup and decided what clothes they wore. Usually when you get a band, a lot of the time, ones that I've searched years back, it was one person in the band that used to decide what everyone wore. I used to know what was he? He was the lead guitarist in a band called Cab Yellow, and he was the guy that decided what everyone wore. And I thought, that's a bit weird. Surely it'd be down to someone else, like the costume department. And but no, it goes down to one person takes the responsibility of that quite often. So I don't know the story behind them. I just know that they wasn't there. But these are things you can follow up, because the stuff regarding a little video like it's not a little video, it's quite big into it and popular, but Loving an Elevator, you'll find every single scene in that is well documented somewhere, because everything is thoroughly documented now. And there'll be a video of somebody taking the video and a video of them videoing the video. Honestly, it's ridiculous when you look into it, the amount of cameras that are on everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you this. I know you probably already know this, because I know I heard this within the last year of Bruce Springsteen, that people are saying to me that his belt.
That was a baseball glove for me that he held. It wasn't a red thing, a cap in his back or out. It was a baseball glove. No one else says that. I know distinctly that was a baseball glove for me.
And some people say his belt was just a regular belt, and now there's more things on his belt. The silver.
Yeah, it's ornate.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm just curious if you heard anything on the belt part like that. So you're saying
no? I thought it was plain, but I couldn't.
Glove. Now I'm just asking.
Yeah, it's a baseball glove. Yeah.
Now I'm just asking this: what if somebody says, "Well, he had a glove in the video song Glory Days"? What would you say? Somebody
I've never seen Glory Days. I don't know what you're on about. The only thing, I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan, and the only thing is, I've only ever seen that image of him.
Yeah,
I don't listen to his songs are out, so I couldn't get it confused.
The video's about baseball, and he's out there with baseball with the glove on, throwing it, and I'm not saying somebody's saying that. I can see somebody telling you, well,
is that on this? Is that on this at all?
And that woman from Terminator was in that video. In the first Terminator movie, was in that music video.
In some of these,
no, you see,
videos,
I've only ever seen this picture though. I'm not interested. I've only seen that one picture.
Now, what is
could
this?
It be us misremembering sometimes, guys? You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes you'll watch a video, right, and the whole video will look one way, and then they'll flash one quick second scene that's totally different, and then it goes back to the way it was. Sometimes they do that in videos. So being that gets done a lot, could we be,
Well, they do the
misremembering?
subliminals. They do the
Yeah,
subliminals, which is usually two 24ths of a frame, so it'd be 2 frames in every 24, depending on the emphasis and that they were putting forward, whether they wanted it to trigger a drive or what. So, I know they do it more than in the cinemas where it was, oh yeah, go and get a bottle of Coke sort of thing. But no, I can't see them doing that because it wouldn't override what you're seeing, in my opinion. But with this one that you're looking at now, I'm not saying that this one is a Mandela Effect. There's other images to this. Now, what that is it's a picture of the ship from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and that is R2D2. There's other images of R2D2, and they've got it on it. I just thought it was unusual because I think I would have heard about it, and so would lots of other people, but everyone I've spoke to hasn't seen it, didn't know it was there.
And
it's in the film. No, I froze it in the film as well, and it's there. But it's I've got some other images of it close up. It's like a little LED R2D2. But the odd thing is, the LED copy, the replica of the R2D2, is not like the R2D2 now with these projectors coming out of his head and at the back and all that lot. And it's more like how I remember it.
I know Steven Spielberg and George Lucas took a picture of R2D2 and C3PO and put it in Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're with the wall.
Yeah, as a glyph. Yeah,
I know that was put there on purpose as an Easter egg.
Yeah,
and I like what you said. You're not saying it is, but it is.
No.
It is strange.
I mean, but the strange thing about that is, I've only just sort of learnt about it. Yeah, I think it's something I would have known years back. It had been talked about. I mean, why is everyone that I know who's fanatical about it, about both films, doesn't know?
Because these movies, all of us here grew up on these movies, Close Encounters. This is our generation movies.
Yeah, so you better know this, surely. It come up in.
I grew up on movies. I know movies. When people talk about changes in movies, I might have a little extra because I've probably seen that movie like 100 times, not just once. Now, let me see here. Let me go to this next picture here. That is
right. You know what that is, don't you? The symbols for male and female.
Yeah, and that's what it is now, but it was different.
That's what it was for me.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what it was for me. Now, if you look at the male one, which is the blue one on the right, it now goes. I don't know which way I'm pointing on here, but it goes to the right. Down. It tilts to the right now, 45 degrees. Yeah. It's like it never did that. That's bizarre. And this image was originally taken from. Is it? I think the Wonder Years. There's a scene in the Wonder Years, and he opens a book on like sex education, and that's the only place I can find the residual for that.
Here's a good question. Somebody wrote a question, and I'd like to get your opinion on this one. Do we have varied realities as we get older? What do you think of that?
Varied realities as we get older. I don't know. I'd have to say, in my opinion, no. But I could be wrong, and that's because my kids are younger. I mean, I'm sure I'm taking the question that you mean in relation to age. So, like, I'm 50 now. So when I was 40, was I experiencing the same sort of things? And would a child experience the same now that's, say, 9? Well, I know that there's a 9-year-old child who is experiencing the same as me. I know that there's an 11 and a 13. So, I've got the things wrong there. It's 10, 11, and 13. But that they are experiencing a lot of the things that I am. And, with different ages, even when we regress on different things we've seen. So I don't know. It's a very long answer to give because
I think when we get older, we start opening up more and listening more, and maybe
your perception increases
as realities. We're not. I'm not saying we were afraid, but we're less afraid to talk about things. So you're allowing yourself to.
Well, you're engrossed with music and you want to study and get your degrees, your doctorates or something. Then you want to go into work. You've got stress, pressure, family, all that. So you're distracted all the time. When that's cooled off, suddenly you've got time to spare, and then you start becoming. Seeing other things that you wouldn't normally look at. You're looking in the sky a few times, looking out to sea, doing whatever you want. There's always that, but I think when I think back now, the Mandela effect's always been there, because there's instances that I can recall that I've never had an explanation for. And the only thing I can do is just pin the Mandela effect to it, rightly or wrongly. But like I say, I can only validate the Mandela effect from when I was aware of it. It was 2016. Prior to that, I can't verify anything. It's like most of the Mandela effects out there, the big ones, like that are mainly American or some English and that. I don't know them, even though they're dead popular and I know them. But I only know them after the Mandela effect started. I didn't know them beforehand. The people doing the channels, I sort of learned that off them. So it means nothing to me. Unless it's my Mandela effect that I've witnessed myself and it's personal. I can't reference it.
I 100% agree with you. Like I always tell people, everybody's Mandela effect's different for them because we all don't study the same things. We all didn't grow up on the same things. I grew up on movies. Some people might grow up on music more, so they might know more changes in music versus movies or vice versa. I mean, we're all different that we look at. But God, I'm not trying to get deep here, but what is it? Like, you are right about something. The phenomenon, me and Anthony was talking about this before you came on. The phenomenon has always been there. It's just it got the name from Fiona Broome, where the name got it popular. But the phenomenon itself has always been there.
It appears to have always been there, yeah.
It appears.
It appears that way.
What? I found this on the web. 80 phenomena about self-representation. I don't know. My thing says I found this on the web. I guess the watch wants to tribute to the show. but if you, I'm going to ask you this. I know this might be. I'm going to take this off for a second. If you had to try to think of, that's everybody in the chat. If you don't believe it's real for this argument, I want all of you in the chat to say it is real. What do you think is causing it? I know some people think on the religious side, it's God. Some people say that time traveling might be responsible for changing things. Some people say multiverse, parallel universe. We're having memories of what we are on another planet. What do you think that might be causing this? I know it's hard. I mean, do you have an opinion of what you think is the reason why things are changing?
You asking me or the chat?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I was keeping quiet and I was looking here for the chat coming up. There's a lot of answers I could give to that, and the research I've been doing, I think I'm certainly quite close. Instead of answering that, Eric, let me explain something a different way. You can get the images up, can't you? So can you look for an image of a great white shark with its mouth open?
Great.
And I'll give you an example of something.
Great white shark with his mouth open. Okay, all right, let me share the screen. Great.
Right. That would do, but can you get one coming more at us? They're all the same. Just one that gives you a good view of the mouth. That's fake.
Okay, yeah. I was like looking at that.
Right, that one there'll do. Yeah. Right, zoom in a bit. Now you see the mouth there in the middle at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's now changed. That was a row of teeth going all the way along. The mouth, it's like the mandible has parted in the middle. Yeah.
I know the bottom was going up like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. No, it didn't. And the thing is, because of that, they implicate the what's happened, the aftermath of that Mandela effect. This is about 3-4 weeks old. This change. What happens is there's many people that have had shark bites by great whites and other sharks, but they've survived because when a shark bites, it goes for the middle of the mouth. And if you look where the teeth are there, where they get the arteries on people's legs and stuff, they've survived because it's not severed them, and they've not lost as much blood. Some of them have come, really close to death, but they managed to free them. They might have had a leg off or an arm as well, or whatever. But there is lots and lots and lots and lots of survivors of shark attacks now that never existed. And if you look up not on this now, but if people look up shark attack survivors, suddenly you'll realize that all these people that survive shark attacks now are the opposite to what you'd think. Because if a fucking shark bit me, I'd say kill the fucking lot of them. You know, I'm that'd be my thing. You know, I don't, you know. But what I'm saying, I'm swearing. But what I'm saying is, their attitude is save the shark, and they're very passionate. That they've got groups and all sorts of things going to go around the world to publicize the fact of save the shark, pump all this money in. And there's a lot of things come from it. So that little tiny change that the Mandela Effect's done on the mouth of sharks has had a big impact on the other end, because these survivors, some of these survivors in particular, a couple of them, have made huge changes in this world that wouldn't have because they didn't survive. And you'll know that if you research the survivors, you'll see them, they'll pop out to you. It's a fantastic one as a good example. So when you say, going back to your other question of what do you say? Like what was it? What is the Mandela Effect?
Causing it? Yeah.
What do I think is causing it? Oh yeah, no, I'd still be answering it differently. This is just a fraction. To answer that though, Eric, I'd need to go through a load of examples and then answer. I can't answer it simply.
I know,
it took me a few hours.
No, I know it's hard, you know, because
yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it quickly. Well, like now, you understand that once one Mandela Effect changes, like with that shark's mouth, because that wasn't there before. I'm sure none of you have seen that bit on the bottom of the shark. But because of the people that have been bit, if you can remember one person that's been bit by a shark and on the leg, or they've got marks on them, they're round marks like this, front and back. They're not anymore because of them teeth. The placement's different. They all look different. The ones that are bit on the leg, they're all different. There's a lot more survivors. Most people survive shark attacks. They didn't. Not for me. I'll be going on the shark thing. Yeah, I'm not going down. But what I'm saying is, it's one little change has some strange implications. So you can say, well, that shark's mouth's changed. Why would they do that to sharks? Well, what's it got to do with sharks? It's got nothing to do with sharks. It's to do with the survivors, the people that would have died that now haven't. That's how I see it. And because of that section of the Mandela Effect that I'm looking at, suddenly you find these things all over the place. Yeah, literally everywhere.
I mean, here's a good picture that you have. I know exactly, looking at this, I know exactly what the dollar.
Well, yeah, there you go. But that shouldn't be there, which, you know, that's somebody's artistic work from a film. So in retrospect, it should be classed as fake. But it's I think it was from Idiocracy or something. I think that's what it was. No, I don't know. It might not be. It might be something else. I'm not sure. But with that prohibition sign though, going from top right to bottom left, I've got lots of examples of that still, but a lot of them flipped the other way. There's a Ghostbusters one. I've got Ghostbusters going both ways. We went to a museum in Leicester, I think it was, and they have the original poster that was given to the cinemas, and now it's going top left to bottom right.
That is from
Is it? Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, I thought it might have been. All right, this one, as you obviously know, obviously his helmet's quite different for me. But disregard his helmet. You see the bit going around his neck?
Yeah.
Like a little. That wasn't there for me at all. It wasn't. Now I wouldn't have known that. Yeah.
That's his flotation device when he goes into
Yeah, it is. It wasn't there for me though. He didn't have it. That's the thing. I know. Yeah. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember.
I certainly don't. I've seen it countless times.
I remember the scene, but I don't remember ever staring at the neck. You know, it's just what I like about these pictures is it's kind of like, because you try to remember, what do I remember?
It's not the main thing that you'd focus on in the scene, really.
No,
but there's a lot of people.
I'm always going to focus on it now.
I know. Well, the thing is, like with that, there's a lot of people replicated it and missed it out. You know, but wasn't there for me. Right, this will get complicated. So I won't go into this one, but for me, there was only.
I was
trying to get a coffee before we
know about this one. This is a new one.
Right. Well, when Johnny Depp was on court, he mentioned, was it an ashtray or the phone? There's a few stories I know with different parts of this. Let me think a minute. Was it the ashtray or the phone? It was a phone, I think. and he was using it when he was in a hotel and he lost his temper, which she was trying to do him for. He had no, I think it was an ashtray. It was a Bakelite ashtray, and he says Bakelite. It's not called Bakelite and never has been. It's Bake Light. And he says Bakelite. Exactly how I always know it. And it's dead, it's clear as day. Bakelite. But now it's never been that. It's Bake Light. And I just thought it was really good that he remembered it like that, because not many people remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't ever really hear people even say that word a lot at all.
Do you know? No, it's like a 40s, 50s product that was put in stuff that was
used more, you think, in the UK versus United States?
Possibly, but you still got a lot of it.
Oh, you hear it a lot, Anthony?
You don't hear it a lot because it's from the 40s, 50s. It's a material that they use, but I remember it as Bakelite myself. Yeah.
It's never been that though. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I could be missaying it, or the way I heard it, it could have sounded like Bakelite to me, and that's why I said it like that.
Yeah, I remember it used to be written.
You do have a good. She does have a good point too on some movie stuff. She wrote some things to our movie mistakes and a revamped director's cut. They add or delete things. Aliens is brilliant. It's getting a lot harder. I agree. It is getting harder on movies because now there's so many different cuts now of movies, different cuts, different deleted scenes and all that. But I think what makes the 80s a little bit easier to recognize changes, because in the 80s they weren't really director's cuts. That didn't really start coming around until the 90s, when you have this DVD. Then 2 years later, guess what? You can buy the director's cut. Hey,
that's the thing though, Eric. People
the movie Harrison Ford, Blade Runner, has like 20 director's cut in that one movie. So it is getting harder and harder.
Well, but that's why you need to go back to the original. So anyone who's ever claiming anything on Star Wars needs to go back to the 1977, the release for 1977, and use that only. Don't use any other but that one, which would be a VHS or Betamax version of it, and that's all you can go off.
I agree because like
what you got to use.
Like the original, if you buy Star Wars now, it's going to say Lucasfilm, or it's probably going to say 20th Century Fox, 20th Century Fox, Disney. But the first company who had it was CBS. I don't know if you here. I'm going to make it wider, show people.
Was it? I didn't know
CBS Fox is the company at the time that was Fox. It was called CBS Fox. Like he was talking about, this is the original cut. No changes, no nothing. So if anybody's looking for a VHS for Star Wars, it's the original company is CBS Fox. And like you said, always go back to the original source if you have it on VHS or Betamax. Otherwise, if you just bought the movie recently or something, the changes are probably already done. You're never going to get it. You're never going to know. I know it's hard, but hey, you can still go to thrift stores and stuff. If you go to thrift stores, they still have a lot of VHS and beta there. So, but let me, I gotta actually hold on a second. Let me ask you this. When you watch stuff yourself, is there any kind of does it drive you crazy sometimes? Like it drives me crazy. Like some shows they do like, what is your top 10 Mandela effects? What are people's top 10s? And it seemed like not everybody, people in their 20s to 30s, somehow they always say like my top 3, they put in a Nelson Mandela. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how can that be a change for you? You weren't even born when.
Well, the thing is, Eric, that if you're asking somebody's like top 10 or top 3, they should be their top 10 or top 3 that they've actually found. Not that they've heard on some fucking internet channel. It should be what they've seen, what they've found. That's theirs then. But people don't. They're just like, oh yeah, Luke, I'm your father or whatever. It's like, but they're not yours. Yeah, all right, you're affected by them, but be original and find your own. Right. That's how I see it, because they're the ones that are impacting you. You found them. They're yours. Because Luke, I'm your father. Yeah, I remember it, but it's not mine. I'd never claim it. It's a bloody good one, but it's not mine. And there's the Bear Stained Bears one. I mean, I knew something was dodgy with it, years back, but I didn't know what it was, and I'm not a big fan of it, so it means nothing to me. There's loads that don't mean anything to me.
Yeah,
we had Mike and Ike Sweets over here that's changed, and M&M's, not M&M's, it was M&M's. I saw all these things happening, but
I agree with you 100% because I'll listen to people and they'll say, "Hey, these changes happened in the Bible," and then the guy never read the Bible, and he said, "Well, this is what he told me." That's fine. If it's a change for him, like you said, he needs to come out and say it because that's a personal change for him. I cannot claim somebody else's change if it never happened to me. I mean, that's like you're saying, you're just picking the top 10 easiest, Monopoly
favorites of someone else's. Yeah. I mean, the Monopoly guy's a good one. I mean, I spotted the Monopoly guy well back, but I don't know who came up with that one. Was it? Did I do one on it? I really don't know with that one. I don't know I don't know where the original source was from that. I don't know if that was me or someone else. I don't know. I don't think it was me.
How would you break down? This is the part of the hardest also ones I think is music, because I hear arguments on both sides, like music changes, here's a music change, but then another argument, somebody can say, well, Eric, sometimes when music gets released in different countries, they can't use this word or use that word. So there are sometimes different versions of the same song. And when people say that, it makes it kind of hard to research. So if you're trying to research a song with the change, is there a certain way with your technique you would research a change?
Well, if there's a song that comes up, I'll listen to it. And if I'll know the words changed. That's it. That's all I can do. I don't go and investigate any other way. It's like, that's not right to me. That they used to say such a thing. Then I'll check the lyrics of what they are now. Then I'll date back to as far back as I can go to when the lyrics originated, like usually when it was put, they were doing the first, the first burn of it, whatever you call it, and I compare it, make sure there's no alterations that have happened. But it's mainly if I've heard it and it goes back to say 1980, 1990 when I was listening to it. And if it's still the same in 1980, 1990, especially on, say, now 23 or now whatever track it was on that I listened to it, then it's a change. But if I see it and or someone else says it, it means nothing to me. I've got to pick it up phonetically with my ears, and then it's like, yeah, oh God, that's off. Usually it's the notes that are different or the melody, the beat, the bass. It's usually something like that. But when you get a word or a phrase, it's oof. There's a Chili Peppers one, and he still uses his mouth and says the old word. And kind
of like movies, you got to find the original source, because every album now all has remasters. Everything's been remastered, remixed. I mean, it's
exactly
it's harder.
So you've got to go back to at least when you watched it. So like I say with the Star Wars, because you'd have seen the first one, we'd have all seen the first one, so you stick to that one. 1977, or if you saw it later, then you get the year that you know.
And there's also sometimes there's also radio edit cut versus what's on the album, because music has to be edited for words for radio, because radio is somewhat.
Well, speaking of editing and all that lot, now I mean we have some weird things over here now in McDonald's. They play a lot of do we call it black music? I'm not sure what we call it. I think that's what we call it, and it's all crude, vulgar, violent swearing, and yet it's acceptable in McDonald's from, I think it's 5 o'clock onwards.
Rap music.
Well, it's not good enough to be called rap. It's not really rapping because it doesn't rhyme. So I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't necessarily call it all rapping. No, it's lazy rapping.
So I think you're saying radio can't play it, but you can walk into McDonald's and they'll play it.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
To be family friendly.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
because the people that work there put it over the radio. If somebody that ever owned that McDonald's came in while that was going on, there'd be a war in there, because the kids do whatever they want. Because you got all kids working in there; they do whatever they want.
Well, you hear the kids now when they're on the way to school singing along to these rap songs and that. They're vile. I don't know if you've heard them. They're disgusting, and they're full of swear words and terrible things. Yeah, it's awful. It really is. It's Terrible.
Here's our musical friend from the UK, Lee. First for
R&B
audio.
trash. That's
R&B
right,
is trash.
Yeah.
He's from the UK. He's a really good artist. Let's go. I'm gonna pull this up and look at your next picture here. That's the football player.
that. Yeah, you might have to zoom up on that. They were just things that I'd seen, like that I would have clocked beforehand. You can see the fingers missing. Is it missing on that one? The bottom one's Denzel Washington, and he's got an extra thing. He's got a bent finger. His little finger does right off to the side.
Oh, it is bent down.
Open that up for me, Eric.
Do what?
But I've seen a number of his films where he's holding guns and pointing. I mean, did he have a standing hand? That looks awful. I'd have fucking snapped. I'd have snapped my finger back. I broke my toe when I was in Spain, and it was like that. It was literally sticking up like that, and I just pushed it back down. It bloody hurt, like. Oh, you couldn't go around with that, could you? I mean, that's got to get in the way of everything.
Could be like, I know people that have broken fingers or shoulder, and then they were able to pop it out and pop it in on will. Maybe he's got one of those issues.
No, it's the bones fused back like that. He's obviously bent it at the cartilage, and it's just fused. It's fused. I read up on it. It's just something you would have spotted. Now, this is Aid Edmondson over at... Do you know who that is, yeah?
No.
No, right. There's a UK comedian like guy. He played with this other guy called Rick Mail. Now, this is from a series called The Young Ones it was big in the Mandela Effect at the start because there's a fifth housemate in this place. They're all like students. And there's a woman who's got long hair. She was never in it, and she's in a lot of the shows, but nobody seems to see her. And on one of them, there's like an old man, like a wizard, who seems to run right past her and through her. It's really creepy. So after this, if you look up the Young Ones Mandela Effect, you'll see someone's done a pretty good video on it, and I think it's Esoteric Detective that's done a good video on it. But he's got on here. It's called Aid Edmondson. Back then, he always used his full name, Adrian Edmondson. He never used Aid Edmondson, ADE. Never used that. It's something that's only come up very recently. And now it goes all the way back. He's always used it.
See, I love hearing Mandela Effects from UK that we don't even really know here, because I never even seen this person.
It used to be quite funny in its day, but I think this is a humour that's gone, really. Well, sort of gone. It's slapsticky to the next extreme.
What is this?
What's that one? Right. This starts getting a bit weird now. This is people appearing in tracks. This probably isn't the best one. Let me give you a better one, Eric. If you get, I mean, you're going to get a strike on it, aren't you? You won't be able to play Stand and Deliver, will you? By Adam and the Ants?
No, it won't be allowed.
No.
No, they actually take the video down when they end the show on you.
Yeah. I should have took some segments off it. This is a UK one. You probably won't know. The robot's attire is different. He now acts very, very different. He has a different character, a different persona. He acts very, very, I'm going to say gay. But his helmet's quite different, and it's got a big kink in it. It's a kids show. You'd know it if you've got kids like my age.
Almost looks like that robot in Buck Rogers, but more.
No, Twiggy.
Yeah, Twiggy.
Twiggy, yeah.
That looks like more. That's human, because Twiggy had that little circle around his chest. That's square.
He was pretty pissed off on that video, because that reply I got from him. He'd clearly seen my channel, and I called him like just that he was a bit of an amateur, and then he'd done that. I wasn't good. That I wish I hadn't done that. He's a good guy, actually.
He doesn't.
He was shitty. Did you see the other one that I sent you, Eric? By because he's going big again, isn't he? What's he called? The one who used to hobnob with all the celebrities. He was big for a number of years. Perez Hilton.
Oh, Perez Hilton. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I sent that other video I sent you, Eric. That was Perez Hilton on there. Again, the Mandela Effect. Now, he knows Robert. He's seen Robert's channel, oddly enough. So I'm just saying that on here. That's it. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's into a lot of stuff. But yeah, I won't go on about him. These are UK actors again. You won't know them. She had a very pointy nose, and she's now
looks
had
very
surgery
familiar.
when she was young.
What
Sorry?
was she in? Because she looks very familiar to me.
Oh, she's in Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Okay.
Yeah, she's been in tons of stuff, but she was in Harry Potter. She used to have a
Oh,
very, very pointy nose, like excessively pointy. It used to remind me of a pixie, and it reminded everyone else of a pixie. And they used to call her pixie nose, but it was always reminded of a pixie. And now she's not got it. She's had a nose job done ages ago. So I looked into it. I'm like, what's up with this? And she had it done. She had a discussion with her mother and saying she wanted to be an actor. And anyway, all the history's there about it. It explains it all now in the past. And she had surgery when she was a lot younger and got a nose fixed. There's a bloke as well who plays a husband in a series, and he used to play Foxy as well in a sort of political show, but comedy. And now he's got this massive scar on his head, and I'm like, he didn't have that. He never had this scar on his head, a deep scar. And in history, it now says he's actually done a report on it when he was at college regarding actors with scars. It's bizarre.
Now everybody knows E.T. I think everybody knows E.T. What's going on with this one?
If you scroll down a little bit, you can see it's not a clear enough enough image, but you see in between his pectorials there, them lines going across.
Yeah,
it's like boobs. He's proper ripped.
He's got boobs now. He's ripped.
Never seen that before.
Wow.
Yeah, proper ripped.
Damn you! You're right. I never even. I don't know if I just didn't notice it or not, but
no, it was smooth. You would have noticed that there anyway.
I have to agree with that one. As I remember, it was smooth.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, even on E.T. the film, you got to see that part of his chest a lot.
Right.
You know, you saw it a lot. It wasn't just a little glance and that.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. Alien out.
That's the prohibition symbol of Sponge. I think it's SpongeBob anyway. I'm not sure, but it's the right way around. Top right, bottom left. Yeah, it's SpongeBob, that one. Yeah.
Pan-Galactic.
Now that's off Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now you've got nothing to do with the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, but it's the what's he called now? I forget his name. Whatever the guy's called, he's got two heads in it. This is the old
president.
Yeah.
He played the president of the galaxy. Is that who you talking about? The guy with the two heads?
Yeah, I think he did, didn't it? No,
he feeds him lemons. Lemon juice in his head. Right?
I'm not sure now. You've thrown me.
You're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy? The new one?
No, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm sorry. You're talking about the new one, the guy with the two heads. He played the president of the galaxy.
No. The old one. This is from 19...
I'm talking about the one that came out in the 2000s.
Oh, right. No, I think I know what you mean now. Yeah, no. This is the could be wrong, 1982-ish or something, 1984. I'm not that sure. Well, this guy here, he has two heads, and the eye patch, he has like a mannequin head on this side. Now, that's got the eye patch on, but he's not got an eye patch on anymore. And plus, it's a different actor that plays him, and he portrays the character very differently. It comes across bizarre, but you can see there off the image, that's what he is. He has the patch on his left eye. It's the opposite to the dummy, but now he doesn't have it on, and it looks really strange. A lot of people should get that one. That's the way, I think it's this one. That's the way cats have the paws now at the front. And they also have a whisker coming out back here. Like all of them. They have like 3 whiskers coming out back here, which is weird. See how they're killing the paws in? I've never seen cats do that. Not that way like that. Usually just keep them out like the old Sphinx, but they've all got them curled inwards. So they're doing that. I've never seen that. It's not something I've seen. Yet they all do it. Never seen it before. I had plenty of cats in my life. Never seen them doing that. Now, do you remember this clip at all? It's off TikTok, YouTube, it's everywhere, where this woman's dancing in the bar, and then he comes along, and then he looks at her, and then this alcoholic comes in, and he's obviously off his face, and then he walks out, and then this little midget walks past. And it's just really odd clip, but quite humorous. Well, it's changed anyway, because later on in it now they've got all these colours, like the disco lights colours are flashing at them, and it 100% wasn't there. I don't think anyone will who's seen it would disagree with that. Who can
God, I don't
certainly see the changes. Do you know? Have you not seen it?
I don't think I've seen it.
Right.
I mean, I have a TikTok account, but I don't watch a lot of videos. I know SpongeBob.
What? Right. Okay. Zoom in on that one then. Right. Go up a little bit. Now you see his sleeves. See that little bit on his sleeves there.
Yeah.
Right. Just zoom in a little bit closer.
Okay. Let me try to get closer.
Will it go closer? Oh, is it? Right. Yeah. You see that little blue bit there coming off his sleeves? It's on every single episode.
Okay.
You never had that for me.
Oh, that blue mark.
Yeah.
See, now when I mean, I haven't watched SpongeBob in a long time. My kids are older now, but now when I watch SpongeBob, I'm gonna be like, does he have the blue mark? Does he have the blue mark?
Yeah, never had
I
it.
remember a white T-shirt, but I mean, it could be just the cart they made shadowing on this particular cartoon because he moved his arm or something. I don't know.
No, on this. It's every single one from episode 1, season 1 to the current day.
Every single one.
Every single one, bang on.
Let me ask you.
And there's other stuff with SpongeBob as well. Like, do you remember Gary Snail, don't you?
Yes, Gary the Snail. He's the pet.
Right. What colour's his eyes?
What color is his eyes? God. People in the chat, what color is Gary the Snail in SpongeBob? Everybody in the chat, put a color. What do you think it is?
Just the eyes.
Just the eyes. Just the eyes.
The main colour of the eyes. I'll do it that way. The main colour of the eyes.
Yeah, the main color of the eyes. What is Gary? I'm gonna look it up on the side because let me see here. Gary the Snail. And I'll bring up the picture of Gary the Snail for everybody. Let me see. Okay, here we go. We got let me see here. Chris Jarvis says blue. Hobbs says green. Pink. No clue. That's a good answer. Blue, white, blue, red, orange, never.
So it's every colour.
Maybe you never paid enough attention.
Every colour.
Danny,
Jesus.
come on. Here we go.
Rainbow.
Let me pull up the picture of Gary the Snail. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun.
That one on the right is a drawing. Obviously, it's someone's created, but the other two are original, or certainly the middle one, the green
orange.
with red.
Orange and green. Or red and green, however you.
Yeah. Black, red, and green as they're going outwards. I mean, that just looks weird. Yeah, if you look at all the dolls that were produced way back,
they look like olive.
They've got white. Yeah, well, for me, his eyes were white. His eyes were white with the.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
White with brown.
Yeah. Brown,
right?
But then I have seen them blue as well. But the main color I think was brown.
It's the first thing I yelled out. Brown.
Now, how do you go looking for like Mandela Effect? Is this something that you see something different and you're like writing it down? I mean, or
no, you see it. Just see it. That's it. It's just see it, and that's it.
And do you write it down and trying to look at and trying to find the original to see why am I thinking differently or why my mind seeing differently?
Well, not so much why am I seeing it differently in regards of I'm seeing it. Well, yeah, not in them particular words though. But it's like, well, it's not the same as it was for me. But why isn't it the same as it was? And what point did it change? And did it change? And is this a product feature or has it always been like that? And what are the implications of it changing? It's like with Gary the Snail, his eye colours have changed. Well, that's something in production or design from the very beginning. His origins, he'd have been given a different thing. It's like Mr. Krabs, he's got green eyes now. And I think Mrs. Puff has as well. And there's something weird with Squidward. What's that one? Something else there. There's loads of odd things. It's like for me, it was Clancy Brown used to do the voice for Mr. Krabs He died. I remember him dying. I know he died because I used to like him. I thought he was brilliant in Highlander. And I thought, oh, that's a great actor lost. He had a fantastic, powerful voice like Brian Blessed. I thought, that's a powerful voice. He really liked the voice. And then Mr. Crab's voice changed after that from the seasons. And then it went back to the same. And I thought, whoever's doing Mr. Krabs' voice has mastered this. This is brilliant. It's like the guy's not died, it's not such a loss anymore, sort of thing, But yeah, is Clancy Brown still alive? He never died. Well, for me, he certainly did. Oh yeah. And if you look hard enough, you'll see that he did. You'll see that there's evidence of there that he did die. But it's one of these. It goes down as one of these fake wind-up deaths. It's like, yeah, but these fake wind-up deaths where they say, oh yeah, it was just a propaganda thing put out in tweets and all this lot, and maybe a paper or something, a not very common paper. It's like, no, it was everywhere. I remember the stuff I'd seen on TV about it. It's not just a nothing. It's like the guy who played Hagrid in Harry Potter. He died years back. For me, years and years ago, he died. He died of a heart attack. Yeah, just died recently. Yeah, but I remember him dying way back. I met the guy at a model. He used to do all sorts there, pyrotechnic stuff and all that lot. And I met him there, and he's a massive, massive guy anyway, absolutely huge guy. But yeah, he died, and now he didn't.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you a weird question. I don't know why I shouldn't ask this because you're probably gonna think I'm crazy anyway. You're probably gonna say, some people ask me like, what are some effects? And I ask myself, why do I think I'm seeing this? Am I really seeing this, or am I not? I want to know if you think I'm crazy. I've said that for me, the number 13 seemed like a lot of movies that I see now. I see the 13 in it, and I know for me it wasn't there. For example, like I've said this before in the movie Meatballs.
Yeah,
he never had a sweater with 13 on it because in the whole movie he wore Hawaii shirts, and he's in the middle of a wiener contest. Everybody else is wearing t-shirts, and he's wearing like a brand new red sweater with 13. And then here's another one that, for like I said, people can think I'm crazy or not. In the movie Hoosiers, one of my favorite movies, my favorite basketball movie of all time, he's doing the granny shot, and he's wearing a 13. It seems like for me, I see 13s appearing. Is that just me because I like the number 13, you think? Or you think maybe
I don't know. It's like it's strange. It's like I know you've got kids, haven't you, Eric?
Yes, I do.
So it's like when your wife's pregnant, suddenly you see pregnant people all over the place, but prior to that, they're invisible. I mean, is it that you just awaken to? Because if you walk down the street, you can't see everything. Your brain won't take everything in. But if your wife's pregnant at the time, you'll suddenly know there's either 3, 5, 7, 11, whatever pregnant women that you've walked past. But if your wife's not pregnant, you won't see none of them. And then if you did see them, you'll say, okay, how many's wearing red? You won't know. But if your wife's just got your red top and you don't like it, or you put a stain on it and you've hid it or took it back because you didn't like it, you'll know how many women are wearing a red top. So there's that sort of emphasis to it that it's at the forefront of your mind. I always put it down to that, to be fair, but I could be wrong. I think it's different for people. When you say you see 13s, I know a lot of people that see certain codes, and I can't deny it. I went through a phase of that some years back, so I certainly don't deny it. I think there's something there, but I don't know what it is.
I see 43 all the time, man. Number 43.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I say 13 so much, like on my show, when Anthony did a paranormal investigation, him and his buddy he made a comment, look, Eric, I'm at a building, number 13, because he always mentions
in the intro of the video. That's right.
This is 13 in, and I've showed. I don't have it here with me. I actually shown a picture of me in basketball because I played basketball in school. One picture in the same year, and I show this on air. I don't have it now. It's in the closet. I was wearing a 12, and another picture during the game they put in the yearbook. I'm wearing a 13. Now, I know some people say, well, maybe you switch it out. No, I did not switch it out. That's why something for me, 13 has always been kind of weird. Like, I remember I wore number 12 because I was an Indiana Hoosier fan. I love this player called Steve Alford. He wore a 12. He was one of my favorite players shooting threes. So I wore I remember getting a 12, but I wore a 13. So now when I see that movie Hoosiers, he's wearing a 13 now. And I watched Meatballs, one of my favorite movies, 13. So like you said, am I going, like you said, I think to myself, am I going crazy, or is this now?
Yeah, but that's the difference. It's not like the way you're saying the players t-shirt change, you're changing that. That's different than, oh, I've walked down the street today and I've seen 5 people wearing a 13 t-shirt. That's a totally different thing. That's an element that if you want to think of it a different way, it's being adjusted. I don't want to use that. They're wrong real words to use. The environment's making it so that you're seeing that in that particular manner. I mean, I've got a big long-winded statement that I could say, but it's too long.
No,
but,
I know.
yeah.
I know.
It's on your brain, so you're looking for it, right? And
it's. And I can see people going down the rabbit hole a lot of times in this kind of a thing, because just sitting there thinking that simple thing. Why? Why is it happening? What's causing this? That could just I don't know. But
it's like any little change. It's like when you look back on it, which is the kicks I get out of the Mandela Effect. As soon as I see a change, I'll look right back in history, and you always get the answer. The amount of times I've been doing it, all these years, it becomes simpler and simpler and simpler. The places to go, how to do it, how to get it to the exact point of change, and they're the interesting things. And it's what comes from it. It's like, why has that happened? And I truly believe, without any doubt, and it is a belief in that the Mandela Effect isn't a belief for me. It's an existence. But why these things are happening at this specific point, and that I believe they are, that's the belief, because I study them points where it changes, and I see the implications from it and what's going on. Like the sharks is a classic one, really, because of the survivors of that change. Now, if that change goes back and that jaw is one piece again, because that's changed, if you remember, if that changes back and it's just one jawbone and they've got all rotating teeth, then survivors of the shark attacks disappear. That's it. And if you study them now and that flip-flops, they've gone. That's it. There's no return for them. And that's what's amazed the people that I've been with for some time. That's the bit that blows them away, and they're like, Jesus, 6 months ago we studied, where the effing hell is it, and all that lot. And it's like, but we've been studying it. I haven't even got this. They go in the folders for the information, and it comes up with error codes and stuff like that. And it's like, whoa, that's when you start seeing that. Yeah, you've still done the application. It's like they've still stored the information in a folder on the computer, but for some reason it's got corrupt. And then you're like, wow, how can this happen? I mean, there's a lot of things that are like mental paradoxes in a way. Because
now, before we go, we're getting close to wrap it up. Now, I know you do have a channel, but you're only going to do now future videos, just like, oh shoot,
yeah,
I put the wrong. What? Oh, I put the wrong. Guys, disregard that StreamYard. I accidentally put the wrong link. I put the StreamYard link, so I'm not asking anybody to jump on. That was my.
There'll be a pig face coming in.
That was a pig face. Oh, I remember that. Oh my God, that was hilarious. I think.
Yeah, and they didn't find that.
The community will understand that.
Yeah, but they didn't find it as funny. The thing is, like I was saying beforehand, when I sent that phone number in, and you rang it, you took it as exactly how it was delivered, with humor. You rang up a gay hotline thing. Brilliant.
So everybody, what he's talking about is there was a Mandela Effect conference. They did it online, and you're watching this conference. It was like you're watching everything but the Mandela Effect. It was more hocus pocus, magic, food appearing. It was just like everything but it. So. And the thing is, when they're having these panels, they weren't inviting real people from the community that talks real Mandela Effect on a daily basis. They weren't bringing anybody in. They just had their own private group that I guess you could say they're they could do whatever they want. So they had a panel out of nowhere. This man just appears with this pig's head on. Everybody was like, what the hell is this? And you can see the people on the panel and nobody was saying anything at first. They're like, what is this? And somehow he got in. He broke
and when they kicked it off, it just came up with flower power. Yeah, it was quite, but they didn't like that at all. They were fuming. They were fuming with it.
No,
But it was
I
a
know,
joke.
I know. It was like going to a comic book con without comic books. Nothing. You don't talk. There's no comics there. And I was like, I wanted to learn different effects, but they're just talking about magic food appearing. One lady says, "Yeah, I was hungry one night. I was so hungry, I wanted food, and guess what? I walked through the fridge. I opened the fridge door, and there was food there." And I was like,
It's unbelievable,
what?
isn't it? I mean,
I was there like, listen.
it's like,
Yeah. Like,
I mean, that's the difference though. But that's the difference though, Eric. I mean, it's like with this now, like just that initial one, because you put the shark one up. Surely people would remember that sharks had the round, it went all the way around. And not only that, they can check for hours or days the survivors and trace them. It's an interesting little puzzle to try and solve. It really is very, very interesting. Now, they couldn't tell you anything like that. I mean, that's not public knowledge until I've just aired it on in, and I might have voiced it on a live stream. But, give it a day or two, and there'll be videos up there. Oh, sharks' mouths have changed, and there's survivors. I've just found this, people claiming it. But if you do a little bit of research on it, you'll find it's a lot more interesting than you may think it is. A lot more revealing.
And now, people chat right before we go. I do know tomorrow, Mandela Effect. Anthony on Unidentified S4 is having a show a day before Thanksgiving. Awesome. Tomorrow, Invisible Neighbors, Strange Stories. Next tomorrow, same time, same place.
Same time, same place. 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time.
And that's going to be tomorrow. And guys, of course, I'm not going to be doing a show on Thursday. It is Thanksgiving, but I am going to be doing a Saturday show. I don't usually do Saturdays, but
nice.
But my wife is working, since I'll be home by myself. I don't want to be alone and just stare at myself. So I thought, hey, I'll just do a show on Saturday morning. So Saturday morning, I'm doing the show. But before we go, Mandela Effect, so you're only going to be uploading now videos to your channel just for members. You're not going to be doing like live
just to channel members. I mean, don't think I've come on here to try and get any subs or channel members. I don't do that thing. I'm not out for getting really anymore. If someone wants to come in, they can, but that's not my aim. I don't do that. If someone's keen on the Mandela Effect, then they join. I don't beg people to come, and that's not what this is about.
No,
and at the end of the day, I do big advertising things for my channel. Listen, I'm not interested in doing that. I have it's different purpose.
No, I'll say this. Sometimes when I bring in a Mandela Effect segment, I do it here and there. And every time I ask you if I could play one of your videos or you have something on this, you always says, "Here you go for it." You've never said no. You always allow videos to be shared, and I appreciate that because there's people out there that don't want their videos shared. They'll tell you no, but you're like, "Yeah, go for it." So I appreciate it.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Is there right before we go? Is there anything you want to say to everybody before we leave, or? What time is it? Now it's dark where you're at. What time is it where you're at right now?
Yeah, where are you? What country?
It's now 7:15, I think. Yeah, 7:15. I'm in the UK and I'm facing the Isle. Hang on. I'm on Walney Island at the moment. I've had to drive on. I've driven to Barrow Island and then I've driven onto Walney Island. I don't think you'd be able to see it. I can't turn the camera around on this.
Well, we got a lot of friends in the UK, so give them your home address on air. And
I really don't care. They know where I am anyway. Stuff them.
And you can have an American Thanksgiving at your house. So I do appreciate you coming on. That's awesome.
Pleasure to meet you. Man.
As soon as he told me, hey, I want to be going to some shows. If you want me to come on, hey, how about Tuesday? Okay. I loved it. I really appreciate you coming on, and everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed today. That's and in the future, I would love to have you come back on because there's so much to break down, so many pictures and videos. I mean, you can spend
hours,
days and days trying to dissect everything. There's so much.
Can I just say one thing that might interest people? If they go on to that early Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there's a bar scene. There's a bar scene where they interact, and there's a guy stood at the bar. He wasn't there, 2 weeks ago. He's now there, and he's one of the people that just pops up and they interact, but they don't engage. It's a spooky thing. I've not got into it on here. I'll maybe get into it at some other point, but it's an interesting facet to the Mandela Effect that nobody discusses because they're not aware of it.
I have to go
It's
watch
mind-blowing.
the original. I never seen it before, the original. I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah, it's good. It's cheesy, but it's good.
And that's the best part about having these
It's
conversations.
yeah,
Going
you can
back to
believe
watch
it.
some of these old stuff, and like, okay, I got what he's saying. That's my favorite thing about learning any kind of stuff. So, guys, beyond that, just letting you guys know a little update. Last night we started working on voices for the cartoon. So, we did. Gorilla Gamer was there last night. Rich from the Paranormal Bigfoot community was there doing voices. So the cartoon, I can't tell you exact date because there's a lot of work to put into voices, but the cartoon is coming. And when I do a Mandela Effect mix cartoon, damn straight he's going to be in it. Damn straight he's going to voice a character. So beyond that, guys, have a great weekend, a great day. If I don't see you by Thursday, have an awesome Thanksgiving. And in the UK, you don't have Thanksgiving for this Thursday, have a Thanksgiving on me.
Yeah.
Have a Thanksgiving. Say Eric says Thanksgiving, have dinner, have food, and I'll see everybody later. Have a good day.